Bend the knee! Valor Morgulis, everyone. What's going on? This is Don Willie back again. And, as you saw from the intro, I'm back to doing some more tinfoil. And today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit more about this guy here, young Bran Stark. And, just getting into a little bit more time travel theory. And look, when I say time travel, I don't mean like Marty McFly, where he's actually jumping in and out of the time stream physically. This is more of him tapping into the werewoods, exploring his powers a little bit more, and being able to influence events through that. And so we're going to go back to A Dance with Dragons and talk about his connection with Bloodraven and Cold Hands, and most specifically, Cold Hands. Now, for those of you who have not read the books or not all the way through, my suggestion to you is to tap out now. Go finish A Dance with Dragons, especially the Bran chapters, and then come back and watch this and tell me what you think about it. Right? When we actually catch up with Cold Hands and the Bran chapters, they're trying to figure out who he is. And when Bran asks him who he is, he's like, "I'm your monster, Brandon Stark." And, the way that they kind of phrased it, it can be taken in a number of different ways. But after, sitting and contemplating about it and just thinking about the events that have went on and the visions that Brandis had through the werewood trees and just the whole thing with Cold Hands even coming to get Bran, I came to a conclusion. And again, this might sound like absolute crack pottery, but follow me on this one and see if I might have any kind of valid point whatsoever. So we know that Bloodraven went north of the wall on a ranging, and somehow he ended up in that cave. But we don't know how, we don't know why. We also know that Bloodraven supposedly sent Cold Hands to pick up Bran and bring him back to that cave. But again, we haven't been given any concrete story as to why, right? So my theory, based on Bran's last chapter and also the events that led up to it, is you have future Bran, who we haven't met yet, who kind of exists not necessarily in an alternate timeline, but he exists in a future where things have already been set in motion. He was trying to figure out a way to not only contact himself in the past, but in order to get himself to the cave. And it's a little paradoxical. In fact, it's wholly paradoxical because just the whole thing of him getting himself to the cave to be taught how to do things uh, is a little out there. I will admit that. But think about it like this, right? We haven't seen Bloodraven with the power to bring people back from the dead. But from the way that it seems, we can kind of extrapolate that Bran is going to get way more powerful than Bloodraven. He's already talked to his father twice in the past, and this is just the first time he's ever actually connecting to the tree that he's able to do this. So imagine when he learns more and fully taps into his powers, what he's going to be able to do. So what I'm thinking is, at some point in the future Bran is traveling through the weirwood trees back to the past, and there is a gentleman who is part of the Night's Watch who is killed. He brings this guy back and basically tells him, "Look, at a certain point, you're going to meet this dude named Brendan Rivers. You're going to have to bring him back to this cave to, be with the children of the forest. And at some point, he's actually going to tell you to come and get a kid named Bran Stark. That kid is me, but I don't know how to contact myself physically or whatever. So, look, just whatever you do, make sure that I make it to this cave, because the only way I'm going to learn everything that I need to learn is by having Blood Raven and the Children of the Forest teach me. Now, this might seem a little convoluted, but if you think about it, since Bran cannot physically, travel back in time and, go and say, hey, look, it's me, it's you 10 years from now or whatever. This is kind of the only way he's able to really do it. Now, again, this might seem like it's a little far fetched, but think about it, right? How else is it that Cold Hands is saying that he's Brandon Stark's monster? I mean, think about it. Anytime that someone is referred to as someone's monster, it's usually because that person created them. Frankenstein's monster created by Frankenstein. If they called Robert Strong Qyburn's monster, why would that be? They would call him Qyburn's monster because Qyburn created him. Or if it was Cersei's monster, you know, still Qyburn created him, but it's because of what Cersei told him to do. The point that I'm making is that anytime that someone or something is referred to as someone's monster, it's usually because that the person whose monster they're called is usually attributed with creating that particular monster. And I just think that this is kind of a paradoxical loop, and we've seen stuff with time travel and butterfly effects. I mean, George talks about the whole butterfly effect thing with the TV show, but that's a different thing altogether. But I think that there is something that happens in the future that Bran knows about, and he knows that the only way for him to change that is to change the past in some way, but he doesn't know how to actually contact himself. Like maybe he tried to contact himself through the trees and found out, no, that's not going to work because that's still me. And since this is not really a linear thing, it's more of a fluid or a circular connection. He's like, all right, well, I have to figure out a way to bypass this. The only way for him to bypass that is to find a third party to facilitate all the stuff that he needed to get done. He knows that Blood Raven is the guy who can teach him at least enough for him to start using his abilities. But then it's like, all right, well, how do I get Blood Raven here? And Cold Hands was the other part of getting Blood Raven there. So, I mean, I don't know if Cold Hands was actually somebody or not. It could be that he was just some dude. You guys let me know what you think of this. Am I reaching further than Stretch Armstrong and Mr. Fantastic put together? Is this worth 25 feet worth of tinfoil? Is this just a little tinfoil? Maybe enough to cover your dish that you keep in the refrigerator, leftovers and all that. Or is it the whole damn roll? Yeah. And listen, I am off to cover some more subscriber requests for the realm. Make sure to watch out for another epic battle of ice and fire. And if you guys have not already done so, make sure to check out my interview with Ilio and Linda from Westeros.org. And you already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more. That's been my time. Fellow Diarist.